Hey guys, welcome back to another fun video podcast. I hope through this process you guys are getting to hear just amazing stories and how women can overcome what they walk through. It's not about being the victim. It's not about the past that you lived. It's still a part of you, but all of us that have been on here so far will tell you that there's the other side of that, and God can heal that, and God will use it. And Amber is no different. So this is my friend Amber. We met through essential oils. We've actually never met in person, which is super funny. That's one thing I love about oils, is that it just brings together a huge community of people like-minded that you just get to walk life with. So I'm going to let Amber, when I heard Amber's story, it was just like, wow. And so many of you guys are going to relate to this, I have no doubt. So I'm going to let Amber tell her story, and then we're going to have Amber walk through the oil protocol that she used on some of us. It was super powerful. So if you have your oils, grab lemon, lavender, and frankincense. And she's going to use those at the end. Okay? If you don't have oils, no biggie. I still believe God can move with oils and without oils. So not a big deal. But if you have them, just pause this right quick and go grab them, because you're definitely going to want it. Okay, Miss Amber, tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I'm going to give you sort of a high-level overview of my story, because there's a lot to go into. And there would be a lot of tears if we did all of it. So I'm going to try and see if I can stay away from the tears. Who knows? Who knows? You never know.
It's okay.
So when I first gave my story, it was to a group of women at church that I go to church at, for a women's group that we have. And I resisted telling my story for over a year. God was calling me to tell my story, and I kept saying later, later, later. And finally somebody asked, in front of all of the other women, "Hey, Amber, are you talking next?" And I again resisted quite loudly in front of all the other women. No, 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 no. And later called her back and said, "I'm supposed to talk." So I eventually made it to give my story. And the main focus of that was, what lies are you carrying around in your baggage? And what does it cost to keep carrying those lies with you? We've had people speak lies into our life directly and indirectly through either what they've said or what they did, and how we interpreted that. And we carry that lie as though it is a truth. And it weighs heavy, heavy on who you are and what you can do and what you think you can do. So some of the lies that I carried with me from a variety of relationships were, I'm worth less than this person. I am worth less to them than they are. So I must be worth less overall. And then run that all together, I'm worthless. And that carries a very deep foundation into what you can accomplish. Because there's a cap there that you've put on yourself. You're worthless. You can't try for that. You're worthless. You can't go for that other thing. And it doesn't come up in everyday conversation. You don't say, "Hi, how are you? I'm worthless." It doesn't come out like that. So it's not something that friends and family can help you deal with. It's a quiet undertow that just drags you down into places where we were never meant to be. Other relationships impacted me that I didn't have enough to say. I didn't have enough value to say something in a situation. I wasn't deemed a good source of information. Again, worth less. And that Satan will find ways to reiterate those lies and to have your mind feed back into, "Oh yeah, that's right, I'm worthless. Oh well," and really pile on the weight of those things where he can. And very, very heavy. And it ends up being a lot of baggage, like train trunks full of nasty words about yourself that you've latched onto as solid truth, but they aren't. They haven't been, they never were. And the people that spoke those things weren't always aware that that's even what they were doing. It wasn't always their intention to harm. Sometimes it was. Sometimes they were just speaking out of a moment of frustration about a situation, and you internalize it and take it personally, because that's what we do as humans. We take things personally. I was in a relationship later, it was quite serious, that gave me a lot of ammunition to support those lies, that I didn't measure up, I was never going to be good enough, I was not worth anything more than what I was getting. I was lucky to be in this broken relationship, and drove me from my friends, from my family, put a stake between me and anyone that mattered, made me choose repeatedly, and all the while backing up those lies that I was not really even a person. I was property, in a way, and not even good property, like crappy garage sale property. So a friend of mine who had some similar relationship challenges gave me the metaphor that there are some people who are drawn to the beauty and the creativity of a butterfly, and they just want to be a butterfly so much, but they can only relate by comparison. And in comparison, they're not flying like a butterfly. They're not excelling at those things like a butterfly. And so the only way they have to make themselves feel better is to tear the wings off that butterfly so the butterfly can't fly. And there are points in my life where I have definitely lost my wings. There are a number of verses that helped me pull through, a number of oils that helped me pull through and pull back out of all of this. It's been an underlying current even deeper than I thought. I thought I had dealt with so much of this previously, in different ways, in some therapy, in some positive friendships and relationships, but there still was this deep belief inside myself that I would never be enough for really anything. And that's a lot of where the essential oils have helped me break through that ceiling cap that I'd put on myself from all of these combined experiences together, and really break through and hear God's voice again and see my wings again.
So Amber, for somebody who maybe they're not currently using oil, or maybe they are, but it's more for that physical side.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get started even using the oils for some of the emotional junk that you've walked through?
Okay, so for when I first started using essential oils, at our first appointment, I used some past tense. She said, "Oh, try this. Do you have a headache?" And I said, "I feel pretty normal." And I put that on, and I said, "Oh, wait, I guess I did have a headache because now I don't." So that I did feel the physical benefits first, but then I kept, we smelled all of them that day, which it's a lot of oils to smell. I kept coming back to the black pepper. Hand me that black pepper again. I need to smell that one again. I don't know why. Hand me that black pepper again. So I kept navigating to black pepper for emotional reasons, because there weren't any physical reasons that lined up with its uses.
Don't smoke.
I'm not a smoker, not dealing with addictions. But black pepper has a lot of emotional release and breaking addictive thought patterns that were in there. And I went through several bottles of black pepper before I even touched the end of that past tense bottle. So that's how I started. And I think that really helped me see the oils in a broader spectrum, that, hey, this is helping me in ways I don't even understand. And maybe I don't need to understand it for it to help me. And got me also interested in the science behind, well, it's helping me, I bet it would help other people too. And there seems to be all these big words attached to why it is. I should probably try and understand them. So got into the science end from the emotional side, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think there's always that curiosity of why. Why
Mm-hmm.
why do they work? And sometimes the only answer I have is, I don't know, they just do.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, there's way smarter people than us that can explain that to you, but sometimes they just work.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard, I mean, I've heard Desiree, who's like emotional guru, say all the time, if you're smelling oils and that's like you're so like gotta have that. There's a reason behind that, and that's exactly what it was for you. Was, you know, those thoughts, that chatter that was just nonstop all the time. Yeah. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Okay, so walk us through a little bit of the oils that used on some of us.
Okay, so I've got oils and verses together. They're reduced. The paraphrased might be the word, but you can look them up later if you want. They're correct. But I start with the lavender, and I've got just little ones here. So I have you put a little bit in your hand, just a little bit, so it's wet, just a little bit, and then rub your hands together and breathe it in. Satan would have me believe that I am not enough, that I am too far gone to be loved. God tells me in John 1:12, I am his daughter. And in Colossians 3:12, I am chosen by God, holy and dearly loved. So then I challenge you to breathe that in again and repeat that with me. I am his daughter. I am chosen by God. And if you've got a hand mirror handy, if you want to come back later when you've got one handy, breathe that in again and say it to yourself in the mirror. Convince her, look her in the eyes, and tell her, I am his daughter. I am chosen by God.
And y'all, that sounds so easy to just put a hand mirror up, or even just take your cell phone and look at the camera lens of it. There is power in that, especially if that is a belief that you don't believe. The other thing that I've done is put it on the Think Up app, and just stood in front of my bathroom mirror as I'm getting ready in the morning, brushing my teeth, and say exactly what Amber's saying. Because y'all, sometimes in the middle of this process, you're not going to believe that for a little bit. You have believed the lies for so long that it's going to take a little bit to believe the truth. So you will, but sometimes it takes a little bit.
It takes a lot of repeating the truth to remember that what you were stuck in was the lie. Yeah. So the next one I do is lemon, and same thing, a little bit in the hand, rub it together. Satan says my sin is too great, but God says in Colossians 1:14, I am completely forgiven. And that's the phrase to repeat. I am completely forgiven. I am completely forgiven. And then lastly, frankincense. Satan tells me that my dark days are too much. But God says in Romans 8:35-39, I cannot be separated from God's love. I cannot be separated from God's love. You cannot be separated from God's love. When I did this presentation at my church, I challenged the ladies to repeat it after me as an I statement, and then to say it to their neighbor next to them, look her in the eyes, and say it as a you statement. And that was really powerful.
That would be a cool challenge. So we'll put that challenge out there. So pick somebody either that you live with, a friend, or even on social media. Just pick somebody. You don't have to post it all over. Just send them a private message. Invite them to watch this, and you guys do it together. There's a lot of women, you guys, who have walked paths in relationships where they have been completely torn down. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And we as women need to say enough is enough. And that we're going to build each other up. I think so many times our first initiative is to, well, you know, how did you get yourself in that mess? Or how, you know, whatever. I mean, ladies, let's just stop. Let's just stop. And if that's the crowd you're hanging around with, that's who's in your life, ask God to bring you a tribe of women who will encourage you and uplift you. Because that's what he did with Amber and I. He totally brought us a tribe of people. And I've never seen this. I honestly, and Amber, you can chime in, but I've never seen a group of women who it's not nitpicking and tearing each other down. It's actually absolutely the opposite of how can we walk with you? How can we support you and strengthen you, and you can achieve your goals? And that's what the world needs to look at, and that's what the world needs more of. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply that in 2018. So if you don't have a tribe, go find one. Ask God to bring along those women. It's amazing what can be accomplished. So any final thoughts, Amber?
No, just that tribe could come from a place you least expect it. So once you ask for it, be open to where it could come from.
Yeah, and be a part of it. Like go in there and build others up, because it's really is amazing. So, any advice you'd give women who feel like they're stuck or feel like, you know, that they're just too far gone in this process?
It's really easy when you're immersed in all of those lies to think that that's great for you, but I'm too far in. That's great that you found a way out. I can't. It's too deep over here. And I'd challenge you to reach out and ask me for the rest of my story, because it's not too deep where you're at.
Yeah, and we'll put a link so that you guys can connect with Amber. So, because there's a lot more to her story, and God is resurrected and healed and brought an amazing spouse now, an amazing little boy. He just turned 1, and he's precious. So God really does bring beauty out of those ashes. So thank you, my friend, for sharing and being a part of this. Excited to see what who he's gonna speak to in this. So thank you.
You're welcome.